I had no choice. St. Louis made an offer, and this is an offer I cannot turn down, because every year I have to come back, and also there's such a great, this is occasion, 30 years. It's to commemorate match. So Vishy was happy to play, and I was here to accept the challenge.
Welcome to the very first episode of ChessVibes Weekly, your weekly update to what's happening in the chess world. I am your host, Peter Doggers. Podcasting is a new thing for me, and I believe there might be an audience for regular updates on the chess news, which you can listen to while doing other things. It's an experiment, but I hope I can keep it up, and I hope you will like it. So let's go! What did this week of chess look like? Well, the main story was a chess 960 match between legends Garry Kasparov and Vishy Anand in St. Louis, 30 years after their PCA World Championship in '95 in New York. Also, the European Team Championship is underway in Batumi, Georgia, and going straight back to the US of A, the US Championships started on Sunday in St. Louis, while America's #1 player Hikaru Nakamura is once again fighting lesser gods, this time in Canada. We have to start with Kasparov and Anand, of course, two former world champions clashing at the board 30 years after their World Championship match, which was held under the umbrella of the PCA, the Professional Chess Association. This week's match was also 20 years after they had played their last classical game, which was at the 2005 Linares tournament, Kasparov's last official tournament of his career. It should be noted that Anand and Kasparov played some Rapid and Blitz games in 2017 in St. Louis and in Croatia in 2021. This time, the match between the two legendary players was held on the occasion of the reopening of the St. Louis Chess Club, which had been under construction for 4 years and is now bigger and even prettier than before. It was an event that was part of what is called clutch chess, an interesting format invented by Maurice Ashley. The match first saw 6 25+10 rapid games and then 6 5+3 blitz games, with escalating stakes. A win was worth 1 point on day 1, 2 points on day 2, and 3 points on day 3. The prize fund, by the way, was $144,000. The games were played in chess 960. The match would surely have generated more interest if it had been classical chess, but I think it suited both Kasparov and Anand, busy with other endeavors these days, to be able to enter the playing hall without needing to brush up their opening theory, created by insanely strong engines and brought into practice by teenage talents that could have been their kids. So, how did it go? Well, the older fans of the Beast of Baku can be happy because it was Kasparov who won the match 13-11. After the first day he was leading 2.5, 1.5, having won game 3 and then narrowly escaping in game 4. The start of the second day was disastrous for Anand, who completely forgot about his clock in a close to winning position.
We're down to 5 seconds now for Vishy Anand. 4 seconds on the clock. Is he even aware of the fact that he needs to make a move? He's about to flag.
He flagged.
I'm seeing the time.
Oh my God. Vishy just completely lost awareness of the clock.
Kasparov had a 5-point lead after day 2, but thanks to the special points system, it was not over yet. However, on the final day, he did secure a victory, with 2 rounds to spare, just like in '95, by the way, when the match went over 20 games and a draw in game 18 sealed the deal for him. In St. Louis, Anand eventually won the last 2 blitz games, picking up a $16,000 in bonus money and making the final score more respectable.
I think it's fair, because it's otherwise, he played well, but somehow just, I think it's I don't know, you should ask him, but I think he probably kept seeing ghosts of the past. That's what prevented him of winning today. Game 1, he was completely winning. Just that somewhere, there was a few moments where he was so close, and then just as if I could see that he was losing air. So this kind of the decompression. So I had a sense. So that's helped me to actually to fight back.
Meanwhile, the European Team Championship is the biggest event underway this week in Batumi, Georgia. Held every 2 years, it is a 9-round Swiss for national teams consisting of 4 boards, both in the open and women's section. Serbia are the defending champions in the open section, while Bulgaria managed to win the women's tournament back in 2023. On Sunday, 7 of the 9 rounds had been played, and, with 2 rounds to go, it is Ukraine who are leading the standings with 13 board points, 2 more than Azerbaijan, followed by the Netherlands, Romania, England and Serbia, all in a tie for 3rd place. On top boards, Ukraine had beaten the Netherlands with draws in the games: Anish Giri versus Ruslan Ponomariov, Andrei Volokitin versus Jordan van Foreest, and the young talent Igor Samunenko versus Erwin Lamy. In the decisive game on board 3, Igor Kovalenko defeated Luc van Wely. It was the soldier beating the politician, as Van Wely has spent recent years as a member of the Dutch Senate, while Kovalenko has been serving in the Ukrainian army following Russia's invasion in 2022. In early September of this year, Tarjei Svensson reported for Chess.com that 36-year-old Kovalenko had played his first tournament outside of Ukraine in 3 years, as he participated in the 2025 Rubinstein Memorial in Poland. In a translated interview for the Polish news portal Onet, Kovalenko then said he was glad to start to rebuild his chess career after 2.5 years as a soldier. He explained he's still in the army, only operating further from the front line so that he now has some more time on chess. He was quoted, "Until the war ends, however, there is no chance that I'll return to chess seriously. For now, I'm trying to maintain my level so I can represent Ukraine at various tournaments." Well, despite the unimaginable circumstances, his chess level doesn't seem to have suffered.
We have resignation now
yeah.
coming. Yeah, so big kudos for Igor, fantastic player.
He's on fire.
So he's 43 in the world now. He will gain today few points. He will be in top 40.
Note that Kovalenko had also won a critical game in the round 5 matchup against the defending champion Serbia, when he defeated Alexander Injic. If we look at the list of federations represented in Batumi, we see that one country is notably missing. While Magnus Carlsen is enjoying his first weeks of being a father, his other teammates from Norway sadly aren't playing either. Arjan Tari tweeted, "Yesterday the European Team Championship started in Georgia, but sadly without Team Norway. It's heartbreaking that a nation with the world's best player for 15 years can't find the budget to send its top players to compete." In the women's section, Poland is leading with 12 match points despite suffering a loss to Ukraine in round 7, who are now in a tie for second place with Germany, 1 point behind the leaders. Moving on and moving back to the American continent, we had the start of the US Championships in that brand new St. Louis Chess Club. There's not much to talk about yet, as only just one round has been played. Fabiano Caruana defeated Grigori Oparin, who often serves as his second, while Levon Ironian beat Andy Woodward, taking revenge for his loss against the same opponent at the Grand Swiss. There was a funny moment in the game between Wesley Tso and Hans Niemann, who were both facing sharp rays of light from the sun that apparently came right through the upper window, a possibility the architects of the new club might have missed somehow. Arbiter Chris Bird didn't hesitate, grabbed an umbrella and held it above the players. In a tweet, Garry Kasparov wrote that Hans knows his classics, and then quoted Ruy Lopez de Segura from his book about chess from 1561, in which Ruy Lopez wrote, "The first rule is when a game is played on a clear and sunny day, make sure the sun is in the enemy's face so that it blinds him." Well, when I was doing research for my book The Chess Revolution, I noticed that the other famous Spaniard from the 16th century, Lucena, recommended something similar, and seemingly before Ruy Lopez. He recommended placing your opponent with the sun in their eyes if you play by day, and with the candle at their right hand if you play by night, presumably to make it harder for right-handed people to execute their moves. He added that it would be even worse for your opponent if they had just eaten and drunk freely. Back to the 2025 US Champs, where in the women's group 2 young favorites started with a loss. Alice Lee to Irina Krush and defending champion Carissa Yip against WGM Atusa Purkashian, Hikaru Nakamura's wife. And that's a logical step to Nakamura himself, who is sadly missing from the US Championships but playing instead at the Maritime Chess Festival in Summerside, Canada. Most of you listeners will probably know what is going on. In order to be eligible for the rating spot that qualifies for the Candidates Tournament, Nakamura needs to have at least 40 rated games played between February 1st, 2025 and January 1st, 2026, and he has chosen to do so in a bunch of open tournaments. After scoring 7 out of 7 at the Louisiana State Championship and 5 out of 5 at the Iowa Open earlier, Nakamura even managed to win some rating, as his opponents that were rated more than 400 points below him got him 0-point rating points each anyway. A situation FIDE has recently changed, well, at least for players over 2650. In Canada, Nakamura started with 2 wins against players rated under 2000, but then he was finally held to a draw by 2366 rated IM Mike Ivanov. That was quite costly as Nakamura's performance rating was only 24.47 after his win in round 4 and he dropped 3.9 rating points. In other news, Reuters reports that Spanish player Manuel Alvarez attended a special tournament on Sunday to honor his legacy in the game on the centenarian's 104th birthday, drawing over 160 participants to his Valdebarno neighborhood in Madrid, Spain. Known affectionately as Don Manuel, Alvarez has earned widespread admiration in Spain's chess community for his dedication and longevity, inspiring generations of players. There was also a cheating story this week as a Dutch teenager has been given a 3-year ban with 1 year suspended by the FIDE Ethics and Disciplinary Commission. At the 2024 HZ University tournament in Vlissingen, the 1700 rated player had raised suspicions following a series of impressive results that chief organizer Hans Groffman described as almost perfect play. When he was inspected, it turned out that the player was hiding a phone in his sock. He refused the chief arbiter's request to turn on the phone and allowed it to be inspected. Professor Kenneth Regan, a renowned authority on chess cheating who uses a statistical model to analyze chess games, concluded that the player's performance displayed a Z-score above the FIDE threshold of 2.5, consistent with computer-assisted play. This was enough for the FIDE Ethics and Disciplinary Commission to punish the player. The final story of this week is about National Master Robert Ramirez, who won Coach Champs, Chess.com's tournament to find out who is the best coach in the world. Any community member could participate in Coach Champs, but 8 star coaches drafted students on September 10th. Then they had until October 6th to help their student improve. Round robins for each rating band went on from October 7 to 10. The time control was 10 plus 2 and the prize fund was $25,000. Coaches earned prizes while students won exclusive online coaching sessions, 1 year of free diamond membership on chess.com and a $100 Chessable voucher. As his student performed the best, Ramirez finished ahead of 7 other coaches, which were GM Artur Snakesens, IM Levi Rosman, WGM Dina Belenkaya, CM Chan Kabadai, IM David Pruce, GM Ben Feingold and IM Andras Toth. Speaking of chess.com, the Speed Chess Championship is taking off this week. Much more on that next week in this podcast. Thanks for listening and remember to subscribe wherever you get your podcast. See you next week.